be dealing with the people who is materialistic and always try to fulfill their desires. In that way, whatever it is mentioned in the background, like our mind is always agitated with anger, hatred, stress, confusion, and depression. So this is, I think, this is quite obvious when we deal with such kind of people. It might be easy for the people who is, as Prabhu said, that who is always associated with the devotees. But what about us? Because we have to live our life like that. We have to go to office, we have to deal with the people, and we have to get money to fulfill the desires of the ourselves or my family. So in that way, do you think is it easy for us to follow the path where we can control our mind?
I'll just start the answer, then I'll hand over to Anita. But it is really easy. You know, you may think I'm joking in saying this, but I'm completely serious. What you got to do is do your own business. Wait. Do your own business, make loads of money, and then you hardly have to work. And then you can do what you like. Now you may think, like I said, that I'm just being silly, but there are devotees who are doing that. Exactly. Yeah. Because Krishna will help. You know, you don't have to, it's not the only way to work from 9 till 10, 9 in the morning till 10 at night. Not just 9 to 5, forget that. But 9 in the morning till 10 at night. 7 days a week, or if you're lucky, you get half of Sunday off. It's not the only way to live. But you've got to use your intelligence to see how to find ways, and you've got to pray to Krishna, because Krishna's a big man up there. He is a big man, and you'd be incredibly amazed what he does for his devotees and what he can do for you. But if you sort of insist on just working in the corporate world for a wage and, like that, well, I mean, you'll survive, but it's not going to be much fun. Yeah. And you're not really going to be able to achieve so much.
Yeah. Then he told Arjuna, now go sit down and I'll take care of everything, right? Is that what happened? You know? You know that from the Bhagavad Gita. He told him the whole Bhagavad Gita, then he said, okay, now go fight. So today's what is Sunday? Today's Sunday? So you go back to the corporate office tomorrow? So you came here tonight, so you should be a changed man. At least a little bit. So when you go to the office tomorrow, you should be the one who's somewhat spiritualized. And I get this question a lot from members of our communities in different parts of the world. They get together on a Friday night or Saturday, they go to the temple on Sunday. Usually the question is phrased like, I spend the whole weekend getting spiritualized, but then I have to go out and deal with the world on Monday. It's horrible. I work in a corporation. I can't do it. And I think, no, it's a complete misunderstanding. You're preparing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Monday. Monday's the chance to put it to work. Right? Like you went to school for what? 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever your post-public school years. You get training in your particular job. Now you got to go apply it. So in the same way, when you go to the corporation, one time Prabhupada was on an airplane with one or two of his disciples, students, and some men were there. I think men were making some noise. Back in the days, you could smoke in an airplane and this and that. So Prabhupada's assistant complained to the flight attendant, who told them, hey, be a little quieter, don't make such a big noise, don't disturb the other passengers. So they stopped whatever they're doing for a few minutes, and then they started again. And then this disciple of Prabhupada stood up to go himself personally say something, and Prabhupada stopped him. Said, if we cannot tolerate, what's the difference between them and us? If we cannot tolerate, what's the difference between us and them? So you're learning to practical things. We're trying to focus our mind on Krishna and all those things, but also we're learning to be self-controlled. We're learning to be patient. We're learning to be selfless. We're learning to be more kind. We're learning to see the problems that come in this world as my karma and not, your faults. So we're learning to be nicer, more compassionate people. So when you go to work, Krishna-ized, okay, and the boss gives all the credit to your co-worker when you did the work, because of your strength of Krishna consciousness, you don't complain. When your co-worker is mean and nasty and says things to you that aren't appropriate, you don't get upset, etc. And what happens when they come to you and say, what, whoa, she just yelled at you, or he just yelled at you, or this happened, that, you weren't disturbed. I've noticed that you don't get disturbed by things. What happened? Why? How is that possible? And when you're actually having that experience, you're feeling stronger from your spiritual practice. You tell them, you really want to know? Read this book, chant this mantra, eat some of this food, and your life will be transformed too. And it'll happen. And what happens in a culture, in a corporate environment, you work on a team. You have anybody you oversee? Okay. Each one of them is thinking you're the boss, you're the corporation, right? So you may not influence what's above you. You know that expression, circle of concern, circle of influence, right? You have influence. You influence those people underneath you. So you make your department more equitable. You reward people not based on whether you like them or not, but how hard they're working. You interact with people in a way that you're understanding you're a servant of the servant as we're practicing the Krishna consciousness. And you change that culture within that environment you work in. And you know what's going to happen? Your team's going to start outperforming all the other teams. Because they're all going to realize that my boss is not selfish. He's not out for himself. He generally cares about me. He generally wants to see me do better. So your team's going to start. So other teams are going to start asking, what's happening? How come you're doing better than we are? And you're going to say, you really want to know? Read this book, chant this mantra, eat this food, come with me on Sunday, visit the temple. And you know what you're going to see? Before long, you're the vice president. Because your team performed better, your group performed better, your division performed better. You're going to change that whole corporation. And you may even become, Maharaj said, you can do a thing on your own, great. Some of us, maybe we can't do that. You change that environment. You become a secret agent. You become a spiritual agent in that environment. You change it. If you're a lawyer, you become an honest lawyer. People start realizing, actually, he's an honest lawyer. I can trust him. Your business grows because you're spiritualized, You drive a Toto, and people start realizing, this guy's honest. He uses the most direct route. I want him. He's clean. He's polite. Right? So by Krishna-izing whatever we do, people notice that. You make a difference in your life. Your life becomes better. People begin noticing you have an influence where your downline is, which changes those people's lives in a deep way. Others will follow, and the whole world will change. One of our great acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, said there'll be justice in the courts when the judges wear tilak. And the judges aren't going to wear tilak just because, there's going to be some power takeover. The judges will wear tilak when people realize he's the best judge, he or she, the one who's spiritually educated, free from envy, free from lust, free from greed. They make the best judges because they're really honest people. They're not just in it for dakshina on the side. They care about justice. That's when the court system will change. That's when the corporation will change. That's when the totos will change. That's that ability. And that makes life really fun and really exciting. Because when you open the door in the morning, it's not like, oh God, things and tomorrow will be better.